After you've logged into the home page on MyGCC, you can get to your course through the quick links on the left, expand My Courses, go down to the course that you want to edit, and that will lead you to the main page of that course. There are a lot of elements on this page, so we're going to go through them one by one. First is the About This Course. You can put maybe your goals, your outcomes, anything that you want your students to know for the course. If there's a different format, you click Edit This Content and then click the pencil, and then you can edit the element and edit any text in it however you want. Copy and paste. You can use the usual formatting tools in this top bar. You can also make a header text, which I'll explain in the next element, or you can choose not to display. When you're done making your changes, go to the bottom and click Save, and then go back to the main page. It's the link in the bar on the left. So that is about this course. Maybe if you have tools you want your students to use, such as Dino or any other resources that you might have for them, you can explain that in anything about the course. The next element is the contact. Again, you click Edit Content and then the pencil. This is where I'll explain the header. You'll see when we save that it will say Contact Samantha Fecich underneath the overall yellow bar at the top. And then you can put any of your information, your contact info, your phone, if you need to edit anything, office hours, maybe even when the class meets, anything that the students would need to know to contact you. Again, click Save when you're done, and then you can go back to the main page. And this is what I mean by the header at the top, is this light gray bar. The next element is the calendar. If you want, you start with Add an Event, but before you can do that, you need to have a calendar. So you can do a calendar of assignments, and then do a description of the calendar. And then you can change the permissions. Either don't share the calendar, it will be just for you. Allow only people with access to this page to subscribe, so that would be students, faculty, guest faculty, and allow any user, anyone on MyGCC. Generally, you only want your students to be able to subscribe to it, so the second option is the best. After you've created the calendar, you're going to save it, and then you can create an event. At the bottom, you can decide where and what calendar you want it on, where it's going to be, and then the start date and time, and the end date and time. You can do a repetition, which you probably would not unless it's class, and you can choose an end date for that. After that's been done, you can save it, and it will appear in the calendar. This is similar to the calendar that's on the home page of MyGCC. And then you can go back to the main page. The next element is the announcements. Announcements are not something that are generally used, but they can be used to remind students of anything that is upcoming. So you start with going to Manage, New Announcement. First, give it a title. So if you're reminding of an assignment, and then you can choose who it's going to send to. They're going to get an email saying that the announcement has been sent, and it will also show up in the main page of MyGCC. You can choose all the users in the class, or just the faculty, or just the students, or just the guest faculty, or any combination. Again, you choose the start day and time and the end date and time. It doesn't need to have an end date unless you want it to disappear from the announcement tab. And then save. And then this will be your inbox, because I also sent it to myself, and then the big test. So go back to the main page. And under announcements, you see that there's a big test coming up. Don't forget to study. The next tab is the Handouts tab, and this is a really useful one when you want students to have different resources that you have created. So you're going to start by going to Add a Handout. First thing would be to choose the file. Then you navigate to where in your computer the file is that you want to upload for them. So maybe it's the PowerPoint notes from the chapter you're going over in class, or any additional resources that you have for them. You then give it a name. Maybe you can give it a description. Choose when you want it to display from now to when. You don't need to give an end date, and honestly, most people don't. So you can save and add another if you're going to be preparing for the whole course or the whole semester at once, or you can just add that single one. It'll tell you how many times it's been downloaded, and you can also move it to other places in different modules that you may have, which we'll get to later. When you're done, go back to the main page, and it will show up under Handouts. Students can then click it and download it as they need to. The last module is Bookmarks, and this is where you're going to be adding content, web-based content. So you go to Add a Bookmark, and then the URL. You're going to go to the website that you want to use, and then copy, go back to MyGCC, take out anything that's already in the URL bar, and then give it a label. Again, you can give it a description if you want. And again, choose a display time, set the parameters for that, or don't set the parameters. The default is generally the one that's used. If you're adding many, you can save and add another, or you can just save the one. Go back to the main page. And there it is. Students can click on these to get to the different resources that you have for them and use them however you want them to. So that is how to use the main page of MyGCC.